Okay, guys, so welcome into the chat for another Sunday night scrap chat live with me, Scrapping Irish, and whoever else comes up on the panel. That's probably a reminder to tell me that I'm gone live on my phone, but we'll double check. Not that I don't know we're live, but maybe someone else gone live. It's just reminded me that E-Waste Mike has a video out, so we'll have to check that out later. So I got a notification that E-Waste Mike put a video out earlier. So, right, starting off, guys. Hope all is well. If you haven't already hit the like, whoever's in the chat, please do. I appreciate that. Andy, it was first person in tonight, followed closely behind, but not so closely behind, and he was in a way ahead of everyone else. Followed by Everyday Sellers, then by Paul, then by Steve. So welcome in, guys. Hope you've hit the like. So what has everyone been up to? What has everyone been at for the week? Have you been doing any scrapping, any collecting stuff up? Everyday Solars has been trying to tidy our shed, and we're going to get a look at that hopefully later. We'll know about that soon, if she did or didn't do a good job on it. What's called may have to judge that. Ian Matthews will have to make the decision whether she's done a good enough job on our shed or not. So, what has everyone been up to? What has everyone been working on? Anyone watch any interesting videos on scrapping? What's scrap prices like in your area? I was just watching Shark Scrapper there, and gold prices. Gold prices at all-time highs, guys. So that makes me smile when I see gold are at all-time highs. So when I'm processing these gold flakes and stuff, my camera just froze. I hope it didn't freeze on your side. But if it did, I do apologize, but it's frozen on my side there. Back to normal now. Hey, Java Junkie, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Welcome on board. American's favorite hoarder, welcome in as well. I'm going to shut down some windows because my camera is freezing for some reason. Listen, the shed is a work in progress. Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, if you were building Rome, it'll still be on its way to being built. Everyday Solars. Why is my camera frozen? I don't know if you can see me or not, guys, but my camera has just completely froze there. I think it's a problem I have from who's doing this problem. I don't know who's doing this problem for me, but everything is frozen up on my computer. I'm not sure what's happening here. Everything is back now again. So I don't know what happened there. Did it freeze up? Yes, froze this in. Okay, so everything is back, and here's Mike. Sorry, Mike, you were down in the basement. I couldn't do anything. Everything was just frozen.
I don't care.
I don't care. Frozen. Irish, you look like Rory Line with that freeze frame. I don't know what happened there. It just all froze up. I had to shut down Shark Scrapper. See, a Shark Scrapper playing in the background, so maybe that was the reason. I'm blaming Shark Scrapper first. Julian's Inns, welcome in. Posture, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you dropping in. So, Mike, what's the story on your end at the moment?
Ain't no story.
There ain't no story. You're still scrapping, so you haven't had to resort to working for the man yet. Hey, Christian, welcome in. You, Patrick Williams.
You can't pass the physical.
Okay, so that's the problem. Patrick Williams sent me a link to a company in Ireland that buys plastic, so that might be something that's worth looking into. Hey, Ian Matthews, welcome in. Good to see you, sir. Brits. Yeah, Java. And there's another one there, and there's another one there. There's two. That's another Brit, and there's another Brit. We let them in. We let them in. And Andy's in the UK as well. And is there anyone else there in the UK? Philip, I think, is in the UK as well. Welcome in, Philip. So it's a good few from the UK. We have Christian from Poland. Welcome in. And Mike, of course, from America. So Java, where are you from, actually? Java Junkie, where are you from? Hey, American's favorite hoarder is in as well. Good to see you. Yeah, so no news at all, Mike. You must have some news. Well, your steel prices went up, so that's a good thing. You got extra money for shred.
Yeah, it went up to 10 cents a pound.
And Boardsort will surely have to increase their prices again because of the gold prices being so high. They'll surely start increasing prices again.
They probably will, but don't benefit me. I don't sell Boardsort anymore.
Well,
Well,
your gold value is going to go up no matter what.
Yeah.
How did Mike get in that pillow?
It was hard, Ian. I was in there though. I wanted to feel all nice and warm and comfy like you and Irish always do. Want to get that feeling. I like it.
Yeah, your pillow hasn't recovered from that time with Ian Matthews.
Ian.
Poor old Ian. Yeah, so your temperatures are they beginning to rise up again, or are they still very cold over there?
We're in the mid-30s today.
Okay, okay.
And next week we're going to be in the low 40s, so it's slowly getting there.
Who came in there? Philip came in, and no, I've seen Philip already. Oh, see you scrapping and scrapping on the fly, and Grandpa Kevin with his big beard.
Mikey, hey Irish, how are you?
And Mike's meltdown. Jeez, that was a quick fill up of the panel all of a sudden. Poor Sammy. This guy here, Sammy, was the guy we were talking about last week about. He found that, or he got that X-ray machine from the airport or something, and that he sent me pictures of the relays in it, and you know how the relays will usually have silver contacts. Most of the relays had gold contacts in it. Which were
nice.
Cool. Yeah. JRA Cat, welcome in. Who else did I see coming in there? Did I see someone else? William, welcome in. Scrapping on the fly, welcome in. Don't forget to hit the like, guys, as you come in, if you don't mind. I know Mike doesn't do whatever, but I mean, no. 2 more months of cold for the Northern Hemisphere. We're in. We had 10 or 11 degrees today, which is 50s. What you call 50s? So not too bad. Just windy and wet. That was it. Yeah. So there was over 65 relays in it, and they had they had gold contacts, which was pretty cool. Nice. Yeah. So, Sharon, what was the overall? I had to go before you'd finished your Ed. Welcome in your chat on the tariffs. Is it good for the scrap world? Is that the overall picture? Is scrap prices going to increase with the tariffs in America? Again,
the general consensus is short-term good, long-term, maybe not so much.
Okay. Again, we're not talking about whether we agree with them or don't agree with them, or whether we think we're on about they're there and what will be the effect. So again, let's not start giving out in the chat one way or the other way about it. We're just saying what is. So we got 77.4 grams.
They're all bad.
Nice.
Yeah, well, in short term there will be an upside, and again, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, when this feeds its way into consumer goods, then that would be the thing. But that doesn't really affect us because the consumer goods, as scrappers, we're not too worried. It's only down the road we'll be getting the scrap again. So, it's the scrap side of it. Did Truck Fan come in as well? Did I miss Truck Fan? Oh, the Truck Fan did come in. Welcome in, Truck Fan. What did Mike say?
I found a good one. I-510.
How much is that worth?
$17,000.
Oh, wow.
Because gold went up. According to Shark Scrapper. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that clown, but.
Java's Turkey has a question. Irish, my question is this. Okay, what's your question, Java?
Sure. Just for your knowledge, I just did a scrap load yesterday for steel and 8 cents a pound.
Nice.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
Here in West Virginia.
He's saying, does the Irish use the stone measurements? No, we're kgs. We do stuff in kgs. E. Matthews still does stuff in stones and pounds.
Stones.
Stones and pounds. E. Matthews still weighs stuff in that. In the scrapyards here, it's kgs. So if you go to the scrapyard, at the moment, copper I think is roughly around €7 kg. But I'm sure Patrick Williams can have more up-to-date prices first. So Patrick, get me the up-to-date prices. there for me.
Well, not only is Ian using stones, but he's doing the math on an abacus.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be very accurate.
And he's always stoned, so.
No, so in other words, one stone to another.
Evidence Dollar says she weighs herself in stones and pounds. So yeah, copper at the moment in Ireland is 720 a kg for number one. Right. So fairly good price there per kg. What's this price you're getting? 13.5p for what? Is that shred price, Ian? And is that per kg? Or is that per stone? Java saying kilos, stones, pins, abacus. I'm confused.
How about rupees?
Imagine I need to get up to the old Anvil yard, but I fear I'll spend that in petrol. Yeah, we are measuring in chains and yardsticks. Come on, Ian Matthews. You can rely on you for that to measure thing. So that's a nice box you've ready to go there, Shark Scrapper. So that's heading to the new facility you were saying on your live.
Yeah, that'll be headed to Mint Innovation this week. I just need to set up the shipping for it.
Okay, and for anyone that doesn't know what that Mint Innovation is, Lars, welcome in. What's their company do? What do they do for people that don't know already?
Sure. Yeah, Mint Innovation is a precious metal refiner. So they extract the precious metals from circuit boards, and they also, extract copper. So gold, silver, copper, platinum. Really interesting process because the original owners, they're biochemists, and they were looking at fungi and bacteria that were growing in old silver mines and gold mines, and they were able to figure out the biochemistry of how the fungi and the bacteria eat the gold and silver, and they reverse engineered that into a process to extract gold and silver and copper and such in a more eco-friendly manner. Now they still have to use a certain amount of acids and stuff, but they don't use nearly as much as the classic methods that are out there right now. So they are a bit more eco-friendly in the way they do it, and they claim that they have better yields on the gold and silver that they extract. So it's pretty exciting, and they're opening up a plant here in the U.S. in Texas, and I was introduced to them when I was interviewed by Business Insider. I've kept in contact with them, and I'm working with them as they get going here in the U.S. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Great video, Lee. Ian Matthews, of course. Welcome in, Lee. Ian Matthews had to think. Yeah, that's interesting. What it means is there's another option over there now in the US for you guys that are doing your boards. So you have more options now for selling your boards to different companies. So it's not just Board Sort, or it's not just whatever. So again, you can weigh up the pros and cons and who's paying the best price on what grade of board and stuff like that. And do they take any grade of board, or are they looking for certain grades of boards?
Well, I'm as you saw, I'm selling them a pallet load of low and mid grade. So yeah, they're taking now. Once the plant gets up and running, we'll see how things settle out and change out. And if they want to drive into one particular area of grades of boards, but right now they're buying all grades, and I'm shipping it to a place in Maryland. So they're using an intermediate company right now. And I think what they're doing right now is they're just doing this for cash flow and to get their staff trained up and, that kind of thing. So I don't think that they're stockpiling in preparation for the plant yet. But I'm not positive. That's me speculating.
Yeah. And now you're going working on the higher grade boards to send to board sort, is it?
Yeah. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to look at the shipping costs once they're up and operating down in Texas, and it's what do I ship to Chris at Board Sort? What do I ship down to Texas? It may come down to Texas is just too expensive, and I'm not going to work with them. I don't know how that's going to play out yet.
Yeah, but it's always that there are more options means more competition, therefore means good prices. Sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it doesn't. It should work that way. You think that the more options there is for people to sell the boards, that people have to pay a better price to make sure they're the ones that you're dealing with. So
Yeah.
be interesting to see what happens. That sort of way. And again, the likes of that. Well, that company's kind of different than Board Sort because they're actually going to be processing the boards there. Where Board Sort is more, they're buying them and then they're moving them on again. So, because Board Sort don't actually process the boards on their plants, they're just moving them on. With this company, are more going to be processing the boards on site, aren't they?
So, Board Sort, is selling to other people to process them, whereas Mint is actually processing them. So so that's kind of, and that's going to also drive how Mint purchases boards. So boardsort.com, they'll buy 1.5 pounds of boards, but Mint Innovation, you got to be shipping at least a Gaylord full of boards. They're not going to. I mean, I can't speak for them. I'm not directly with them, but they want Gaylord or truckload quantities, right? So, and somebody in my live stream made the comment that when they reached out to them, they said it's got to be 1,000 pounds or more.
Yeah.
So you got to pay attention to that too, because they're processing. They don't want to be dealing with the small loads where Chris at boardsort.com, he's happy to take your small loads because he'll consolidate them into a larger load.
Yeah. Because they're not processing, so they'll just build them up into bigger consignments. Then for the guy going in with 100 pounds or 50 pounds or 10 pounds of boards, they'll still deal with. Where this other crowd, as you said, they want the bigger quantity in one go. So that's where people have to watch that if they're going to decide to go that route. It means they may have to collect up for longer, so it means they mightn't have as much cash flow because you'll be able to send a bit to Board Sort, small amounts all the time, and keep the cash flowing. Where this company, you'll have to build it up a lot more in the first place.
Yeah.
Who came in there? William came in. I said hi to William. I think Jeanette Pickering and who else did I see coming in? Oh, 6th Street Garage. Welcome in as well. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. So it's interesting to see when there's especially the new way they're going to be a bit more environmentally friendly and a different way of doing it. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out in the next year or two with them. Because you're saying they're not fully set up yet, and some people were saying in your chat as well that there's been objections to them setting up or something as well.
Yeah, that was really interesting, and I'm glad that I got those comments because I wasn't aware that they were running into some challenges as they've been getting set up because everything that I saw coming out of their Facebook page, am I talking with their buyer, is that the governor's been 100% on board and they've gotten some a lot of encouragement to set up and those kind of things. I wasn't aware that they were getting some local pushback, so that'll be interesting to see if that slows down how quickly they get the plant up and running.
So that was supposed to be a secret.
Somebody mentioned that there was no middleman, but what it may mean because of the quantity limits is someone like Shark Scrapper may become a middleman.
Yeah, well, there's an opportunity there for
to buy the small loads off the individual scrappers and then ship them on to Mint as a Gaylord box plus.
Oh, I am a middleman. I make no bones about it. I'm a middleman,
Shark could buy the smaller loads and then build it up into a bigger load and then send it on. So there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
there's the way of, for people to reach out to Shark, who may be able to buy some boards off you, but you'd have to take into shipping and stuff like that.
It works pretty well here for the local folks. Like I've got a couple of IT companies that I buy from, and the one owner, he didn't quite get it. He said, well, why should I sell my boards to you at this price when I can sell them to Board Sort for more? And I said, well, you shouldn't. Sell them to Board Sort. If you don't want to mess with the shipping and and getting a load of them put together, then sell them to me. But I'm in the business of making money, so I'm not going to pay you the same money the Board Sort's paying.
Yeah, but again, when you're buying them off the guy, you might have to sort them and stuff like that as well. Where when you're sending to Board Sort, you kind of have to have them sorted already, going to Board Sort into the different categories. So sometimes when people might be selling to you, Shark, they'll just be selling a load of boards and they mightn't have them sorted. So you have to take into account that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where my scrapyard is at. I buy pallet loads of material from one of the local scrapyards, and the owner there said, I don't know anything about e-waste. He said, I buy computers because, well, I was the only one around that could buy computers, right? So, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that you're paying me, because when I go through and organize their stuff, they're actually making more money from me than when they were selling them on to someone else, because I can differentiate the product a little bit for them. So, that's a big point of it. A big point of it is, using my expertise to be able to upgrade the materials and get my value add from it.
I'm disheartened. I spent 2 days cleaning my bench, and it took half a day to mess our stuff. We're talking about benches and cleaning benches. Oh, stop! It's just you go out today. I went out taking apart some stuff in the shed, and I forgot to clean the bench from the day before when I was doing it as well, and I had to clean that mess first, and then create another mess to clean up later. It's
hey, what? I got a problem with Ian's comment. How can Ian say it takes him minutes to mess up his bench? It's got to be clean before you can mess it up, Ian.
Yeah.
There you go.
If it's already messed up, you go in. Then
One bill will change his mindset.
I did say hi to Terry, didn't I? Terry, welcome in if I didn't. Glad I'm not his neighbor. I'll be knocking on his shed door.
Maybe it's the beers that are making him think that it's cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because his eyes go like this.
Terry, the pallet shed is going well. It survived the big storm, so it's not too bad that it survived that storm. I built it well. It didn't come down where neighbors' sheds came down, so it was worth the effort of making sure I put good deep concrete posting in.
Did you go out and look at it to see if it was rocking in the wind or anything?
No, I watched out the window when I got up in the morning in the middle of the storm, and I was watching the neighbors' trees flying all over the place. So I said, definitely the roof has gone off the shed. I went out the back and it was still there, perfect. I said, wow, not too bad. Bear goggles, yeah. So Grandpa Kevin, what were you working on any scrap? Did you pick anything up this week?
No, I didn't pick anything up, but I stripped apart a few monitors that I had, and I got the stupid little circuit board out of it.
Oh yeah, the little fingerboard.
Yeah. So between that and twiddling my thumbs, the flat screens, I hate when I get them now, to be honest, because you have to take them apart just to get that gold fingerboard, but there's nothing else really in there. Some of the bigger ones will have some nice boards with some chips on them, but some of them new smaller size, like 32-inch screens or stuff like that, they're just cheap made and they use as little as possible in them. The boards are tiny, chips are tiny in them, so not really something I look forward to taking apart anymore. I've seen Shark Scrapper took apart that projector on his last video. I think it was yesterday. He put it up, and he got a nice board in there with the gold corner VGA on it, and he got a nice DLP chip in it as well. Nice gold DLP chip. So sometimes you can still pick up some nice stuff. Any sign of Park Nest? Park Nest was here last week. I think Park Nest was in the chat last week.
I think he's playing with his caravan.
Yeah, he was. I think he was here last week in the chat. He popped in to say hi. What are you taking apart there, Mike? Mind your own business. Why did I even ask?
I'm packing iSeries CPU.
Oh, you're doing the iSeries. That's right. You're doing the iSeries. Hey, welcome in, Ralph Morrick.
Hey, Ralph.
I was watching Ralph dig a hole again last week. He was doing Minecraft, but I'm not a big. I just can't watch the Minecraft. I just think it's too. Just the screen pixelated so much. It's like watching something from the 1960s. I just can't hack the Minecraft.
Ralph, I went to go look and I could not find your other channel.
Ralph, put a link to your other channel in there. So Ralph has a gaming channel as well. If anyone wants to check out his gaming channel, Ralph does. Ralph is more into the casting and stuff like that than scrapping stuff out. So he scraps stuff out to get the material so he can cast other stuff. In case anyone is wondering. Got to have DPL chips and projectors. Yeah. If you get them rare projection TVs as well, they have the chips in them as well.
Yeah, I've got a few of the chips from the projectors.
Yeah.
I got to give a call to Board Sort and find how they categorize them.
I think they have a price for just have a price for DLP chips. I think.
Yeah, it's either gold or green fiber ones.
Okay.
So if they have the gold all over, the gold will look like a ceramic CPU.
So which one had Shark Scrapper gotten his video? I'll have to ask him when he comes back. I think it was the one that looked like a ceramic CPU he had. Yeah, that's one where he's digging the hole. It's very you get into it, even though it's such a plain game. Just digging a hole. It's interesting. I watched you dig a hole. Ralph, my grandma's name couldn't be. Bunch of. Hold on, someone's saying something here. What did he say? My guy gave me a bunch of keyboards. I hate them, but take whatever he gives me. Yeah, the keyboard again. Unless you're going after the silver to get the milers out and go after the silver, that's the only thing really in the keyboards is the silver. I have a bunch of them I need to process as well. Do you go, Mike's Meltdown? Do you take the milers out for silver recovery?
I do. I'm just accumulating them right now. I haven't done anything with them.
Because there's no point asking EOS Mike because he's just going to tell me he throws them in the shred.
I took 180 of them the other day.
And what did you do with them? Into the shred. Yeah.
Well,
All that silver.
I cut the wire off. Give me credit. I cut the wire off.
What about that little circuit board?
What in circuit board?
That's what I thought. Like,
There is a little low-grade board in there, but
thanks for the heads up.
Old plasmas are good for scrap. Yeah, the old plasmas had good boards in them. You get 3 or 4 boards in old plasmas. So you get 3 or 4 good boards.
I've got 2 plasma TVs that I've got set up to take apart.
Okay. You know that DLP chip you got off the projector in your last video?
Yeah.
What one is that graded as with Board Sort? Is that the one that's graded like as EOS Mike saying they have 2 grades on the DPL chips? You think it's the one that's graded like a CPU and the other one is graded like green fiber or something?
So that was a ceramic DLP.
Okay.
So that's the category, ceramic DLP.
Okay. So that's what I thought. I said that there. I was sure it was a ceramic one you had.
Yeah. Yep.
I just double check to make sure. But yeah, it's nice when you get them. And I was saying the rear projection TVs had them as well. So if anyone get any of the old rear projection TVs, you'll get them chips. And what price was Board Sort paying per pound on them again? You put it up on your channel, but I forget what it was.
$32.50.
$32.50 per pound. So nice money to be made on them if you can get enough of them to weigh a pound.
Yeah, and because they're ceramic, they're already kind of heavy, so they add up pretty quick. But they're hard to find them these days. So
Yeah, Everyday Starters is right there as well. The plasma TVs had a lot of aluminium heat sinks because it used to heat up so much the plasma TVs. So that's put a lot of heavy duty heat sinks in to make sure they didn't blow the chips and stuff like that with the heat on the generators. So plasma TVs are a lot better to find.
Not only that, but the back panel of the plasmas tends to be a big aluminum, cast aluminum piece.
Cool.
So,
yeah, but there's not as many of them out there anymore because I think, most people have changed to LEDs, and LCDs came after the plasma, and then LEDs came, and so it's getting harder and harder to get any of them old plasmas now. I don't think there's anyone really, there's not many places still use plasma,
Bygone technology.
Yes.
It was very expensive. That's why it moved to the LCDs and then LEDs. Much cheaper technology.
Yeah.
And this won't surprise you, but I had people tell me, give me a hard time for scrapping that old projector. You could have sold the parts. Like, oh my God.
If you could have lived for 200 years, you might have sold them all.
Yeah, and again, if you put them up on Marketplace or somewhere like that, or put it up on your channel, I have this. If you've done a video saying I have this to here, if anyone wants to buy it off before taking it apart, you'd hear the tumbleweeds going by. So you would. As soon as you put a screwdriver into it, straight away they're on the case. Watch called American's Favorite Hoarder says, I really hope Ian gets back to putting out several videos per week, like me. Yeah, Ian hasn't put a video out in a while. Saying that, he'd probably have one out later on now. What's that? Sellers, don't be tight by bubble wrap. Buy. That isn't injured. Yeah, you had to look. Someone said you had to look that up in Google to see what the word buy means. One thing I love about scrapping is you never know where the gold will be. I found telecom grade pins in a fish finder today. Only 9 pins though. Yeah, well, again, every pin adds up if you're collecting them.
Isn't Ian planning on retiring? Maybe he's trying to figure out how much scrapping he has to do to make up for the pay loss.
Polar says, in reality, you are selling the parts, just not the way they. Yeah, again, you are selling the parts. You know how people said, "Oh, you get money for selling the parts." Well, you are selling the parts. You're selling the parts to Board Sort. So there you go.
Well, and I, it occurred to me. It was one of those things where I've been trying to figure out the right way to articulate this for so long. And it finally occurred to me that, the way to look at it is that gold and silver and platinum is doing nobody any good just sitting in a museum or on a shelf for someone to admire. Now, if it's in a museum where people are being educated, you might make the argument that there's some value. But if I sell that board to a Board Sort or a mint or something like that, and that gold gets extracted and it gets turned into more electronics, then there's value, there's good coming out of it. So it's not going to do anybody any good just sitting on a shelf somewhere looking pretty like me. It needs to get sold and turned into something useful.
Yeah, they can turn it into wedding rings.
Yeah, well, I think that's.
Well, I'm talking about good for people.
Yes.
Whatever. Someone last week asked about satellite dishes. I took some of the LMBs apart and found some gold edge boards. On the LMBs, which
yeah.
In America, you call them something else? What do you call that part? The
feed horn.
Gold fingers.
Feed horn.
Yeah, the horn. Yeah, that's it. So they have gold boards in there, gold printed boards. So, do a scratch test on some of them boards sometimes as well. Even though the edge is gold, sometimes the rest of the board can be gold underneath as well. So scratch off a bit of the coating and see, because I found, and the same with mobile phone boards. I was taking mobile phone boards away or apart this week as well, and I've done a few scratch tests on them, and some of the boards had gold underneath the coating. So if you just went for the gold, as you could see, you'd miss out on the rest of it underneath as well.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's what they always say. Yeah, you've just scrapped something worth £100 for a few pins of gold. Well, if you put it up that you had it for sale for £100, I guarantee you no one will buy it.
Yeah, she might have gotten a few pence for it.
Yeah, there'd be crickets. All you hear is the sound of the crickets as soon as you put it up. You know, before you scrap it out anymore, Shark, if you something like that, you put it up on your video, a little short video saying, "I've got this. I'm going to scrap it out at the end of the week. Anyone want to buy it off me?" And I guarantee you, it'll be crickets. Here.
Yeah, I like it when somebody puts up something free, shipping and handling.
Yeah, shipping and handling.
Well, and so I had these two guys, two different people that were, blasting me about vintage collectors and things like that. I said, well, I've got more of this kind of stuff. So connect me to these vintage collectors. Is there a club? Is there a Facebook page? Is there a,
Forum?
Put me in touch with them. I'll be happy to, let them know what I have. And crickets. I've heard nothing back from them. I have to believe there's a Discord or something out there where, I could let people know this stuff is available, but I was willing to work with these guys and they just didn't come back to me.
I don't think the post office will send it to Europe postage due.
Ian Matthews, let there be light, Ian Matthews. Let there be light.
There's actually a YouTube video about a guy who he went on a search for the largest CRT TV that was ever produced. It was a Sony model. It's like 42 inches or 44 inches, something like that. Huge TV, weighs like 300 pounds. The base on it by itself weighs another 300 pounds. He found one in a restaurant in Tokyo. And the video is all the things that he had to do to get the TV from them back to New Jersey, I think is where he's, or maybe he was in San Francisco.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
But I mean, he wound up spending like $5,000, I think it was, to get this TV from point A to point B, just in shipping. Not the guy gave him the TV. The restaurant went out of business. He had to get rid of it anyway. So he gave him the TV. He just had to move it.
You had to pay for the shipping. Hey, Daniel, welcome in. Good to see you.
That frequently becomes an issue. People. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
I said they no longer make the parts.
Yeah, bad thing breaks, you're in trouble.
Well, they apparently only made they advertised this TV. It was the world's largest TV at the time. And they apparently only made a few examples. And this restaurant was one of the places that bought one.
And be interesting to see now what was inside that television. I wonder would he give it to us to scrap out?
No, he's a vintage gamer, so he's using it for gaming. And they've done a lot of work. But in the video, they do show it opened up where they're doing all the adjustments and fine-tuning it and all that kind of stuff. So it actually is interesting. But it's built like a tank. I'll tell you that right now. It's got a steel cage around the back of the thing.
Yeah, keyboard warriors, I call them. Keyboard commandos. Keyboard warriors. Plenty of keyboard warriors out there, so there is. Well, the amount of people you get when you're doing you're scrapping something out or you're doing things saying, "Oh, it's not worth it. What's the point in scrapping out?" Like for me as a hobbyist, it's not about the worth of it. I'll micro scrap things down. Again, E-Waste Mike and Shark aren't going to micro scrap stuff down the way I micro scrap it down because I do it as a hobby. But when you try to explain to people, and all I just say to them anymore is, "What's your hobby? Do you golf? Do you fish?" And if they say, "Oh yeah, I fish," okay, you might go for 4 hours to a river. Catch nothing. Was it worth your time? You'll go, yes, it was, because you got out and you enjoyed what you're doing. So this is worth my time. So stop whinging and moaning. That's my philosophy anymore with them.
Micro scrappers suck.
That's my TV. Try down heavy of my father. had one. Yeah, me and home RIP Jimbo had disposed of it. Yeah, the old tellies. Like now, you buy a 50-inch TV or whatever, 65-inch TV, and you're able to carry it around yourself. Back in the day, if you bought a 20-inch TV, it'd take 2 people to carry it into the house.
And if you try to hang it on the wall, good luck.
This was a console TV.
Oh my God, Ian Matthews, there we go. There's micro scrapper for you. He took brass ends off fluorescent tubes today. So there you go. That's a proper micro scrapper there.
I'll send you some light bulbs, Ian.
Yeah.
That's called turning senile.
Yeah, you can recover the
Mike, things were getting so desperate for you there. At one stage, I thought you were going to start micro scrapping big time. Now you were doing a lot more micro scrapping than you used to.
I don't have nothing to micro.
Andy does the same with the light bulb ends. Geez, I don't go that far now to go after the light bulb brass ends. But again, it's money. It's brass. What price is if Patrick Williams is still in the chat? What price is brass at the moment here in Ireland, Patrick? Ton of brass on headstones. I don't think I'll go robbing brass off a headstone.
So wait a minute. If Mike is scrapping with his buddy Roe, isn't that micro scrapping?
Mike Rowe?
Micro scrapping.
That sounds like a great job to me.
That's why I don't have any money, because it all gets stolen from my partner.
I took it back to microwaves and an induction hob today. The coil of the hob was actually copper this time. Them induction hobs, they have a lot of relays on them, don't they? I think, Ralph. They're good for relays for anyone that's doing silver. Daniel, there's loads of brass door knockers too.
You need a lot of tungsten to make it worth it.
You're going to have to go through a lot of bulbs to get any tungsten worth, weight too. I mean, good Lord.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, tungsten would be better getting from a metal shop where they'd have tungsten drill bits or whatever. Then if you can do a deal with a metal working shop where the drill bits are wore out, you might be able to buy them at a lower price and sell them on and make a bit of profit on them. Same with cobalt drill bits.
But you also have to have a yard sophisticated enough to buy it from you.
Yes. That's the other thing, to know what they're, again, if you go in and you say this is tungsten, they'll say, nah, we're just throwing that in steel. Well, then that's not much point bringing it to that yard, is it? Because you've just collected all the tungsten and they can't know whether it is or isn't. So they're not going to pay you on your word. They have to be able to test it. So if they're not able to do that, then there's no point going that route. I take apart magnetrons. I'm not glowing yet. The newer microwaves aren't like the older microwaves. You won't glow. What does that pay per pound? I'm not sure what tungsten is per pound. Let me just see.
What do you mean by that, Solus? You love brassy knockers.
Tungsten. Ian Matthews is up here today, and we're even getting down to the gutter already. Tungsten scrap price. Let's see what tungsten scrap prices are.
It could have made that worse. That could have gone really bad too.
Yeah. Java Junkie, brassy knockers. He's all ears.
Tungsten at the moment in the US is 58.08. It's 58.03. It's saying per kg. So that's 22 a pound or something like that.
Yeah, it's about 26 cents a pound.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure. The price I'm looking at here is a rake of different things. Like they have tungsten scrap CNC cuttings, they have tungsten anvil cutting, tungsten powder, tungsten oxides, so tungsten drill bits 70%. So there's all different grades. So again, if it's a good scrapyard, they're going to have different prices. Some scrapyards will just have one price. Now there's another one here, scrap buyer saying $3.25 a pound for tungsten. They're paying $3.25 a pound.
So here's
Yeah, I wonder where I can get 2 nipples for a dime.
here's a fun one that I learned this week that I did not know. I'm listening to a book that is talking about the history of the scrap metal market and you know how the industry grew up and things. And they talk about the old words that scrap dealers used to use to refer to the different types of metals. And so, what term do you think they used to use when they were talking about brass? What do you think they used to call brass?
I don't know. Not a clue. I presumed brass. That it was known as brass all along.
Does it have anything to do with monkeys?
Watch
No.
Someone is saying bronze. Daniel's saying bronze. Ralph is saying yellow copper. Anyone else got any guesses in there? I only get Chinesium knockers around here. Come on.
The monkey fell short.
No other guesses?
No.
Is there... Go on. What is it, Shark?
They used to call it honey.
Honey. Why?
It was they had all these different terms that would mean, you know, where we would say number 2 insulated copper wire, they had a term that meant number 2 insulated copper wire, you know, and all the specs. And when they would say, you know, I've got, you know, 1,000 pounds of honey, they could trade that knowing that that was clean yellow brass.
All right, Shark, I have something for you. You should know this. When cannonballs were used in the 16th and 1700s, they set them in a tripod on an item on the floor of the ship. What was that item called?
It's been a while since I've studied my ancient history.
You were there. What do you mean?
You were loading them cannonballs into the cannon. What are you on about? Brass monkeys.
A monkey. It
Yes.
was called a monkey. So
Yeah.
when the ship rolled too much and the cannonballs rolled off, so the balls on the brass monkey fell off.
No, but that's what they used to say. It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. And that's because the brass and the cannonball used to change size due to the cold weather. But one metal would
One
shrink
would
quicker,
shrink, one would expand. Yes.
yeah, and then the balls would roll off it. So that's where
That's
that
right.
came.
So the
It's
balls
cold enough to
froze
freeze
the
balls
balls off a brass monkey.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that of all of the terms that they would use for scrap back in the day, that they called brass honey. Because if you think about it, when you look at a bucket full of brass, you know, nice clean yellow brass, what's it look like?
Honey.
Bucket of honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the tits on the bull?
Kevin. What's that got to do with scrap?
Well, you know, I mean, it's like as useless as.
Yeah, but because they're not on it, Bull.
That's why they're useless.
My pet name for my husband. He calls me sweet, and I call him honey, even after 17 years. Oh, will you stop being so sickly?
Aww.
Make me vomit.
Hey, Sellers, my wife calls me butthead.
Yeah, well, she's probably right. I wouldn't know. I haven't spoken to her.
It depends on what I've done lately that my wife calls me by.
My wife talks to me like her mother. Hey, you.
What's called Ralph is saying, I heard gold bars being called butter, but that could have been a video game. Could have been.
Oh, Rudy.
Yeah, so I was just reading the chat there. Was there something I missed? But there wasn't much there regarding scrap, because we do get off scrap talk very easy. We do. And I
Yeah,
blame you.
we got to stop talking about Solar's brass knockers and get on with the scrap.
Even when Ian Matthews is not here, the chat goes down the drain. Like I used to blame Ian first, but Ian is in the chat there now, and he's causing it. So he is. Even when he's not up in the panel, he's still causing it in the chat. So he is. I blame him completely. So I do. What's going on in here? Do you hear him? But yeah, I was separating, actually talking about brass. I was taking brass out of the plugs, the 3-pin plugs over here. I think I took out about I have about 10 pounds of weight of brass from plugs taken out this week as well. So it's not too bad, brass. But I don't see Patrick there with the brass prices, so I don't know what brass prices are at the moment. What's brass prices like in the America at the moment for number 1 brass? Clean brass. Anyone got a price?
$2.25 a pound, I think.
Yeah, the last price I see here updated online in Ireland was 16th of January. That's how far thing. And at the time they were paying for brass $3.20 a kilo for brass. So
Yeah.
that's a month ago. So I think it's gone up a bit since then.
$2.20 a pound for yellow brass here by me.
Okay. What else?
$4 a pound for bare bright copper.
Lead 130. Car batteries 45 cents a kg. Silver back then was the scrapyard was paying €20 per ounce, and it was the spot price was 29 at the time, I think. So it's hard to hear what my wife calls me, so all the yelling, but I'm pretty sure it ends with this is why we can't have nice things. Very true.
All right, let's see. Yellow brass here is $2.20 a pound.
Yeah, so your prices are a bit better than what I'm seeing here online, but my price is about a month old. So,
Talking about brass.
Hold on.
See these?
Yes.
Are the valves. These are the valves that come out of different types of propane cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
This one weighs 1 pound 4 ounces. This one weighs 1 pound 14 ounces.
Yeah, but you still have to clean them up a bit more. There's still bits hanging onto them that isn't brass.
Yes. This one, You take the valve with the screw out, and then you pull the centerpiece out, and this pops out, and then it's clean brass.
Yeah.
$2.44 a pound.
Where you are. Okay.
This one, you have to compress the spring so it doesn't explode on you. Take the nut off, take the spring out, and then you push the centerpiece out from here, and that's clean brass. So there's a jig that I was told I could get made to help keep the pressure on the spring when you take the screw out, but the nut. But the nut has a retention pin in it that will snap as you unscrew it.
Okay. And I can see Matthews now just saying, just cut it with an angle grinder. Don't worry about the tension. And a spring bringing around the shed.
The springs are sellable on the internet.
Okay.
For $100. You can get $100 for that spring.
They're about $2 a piece. But I can get these in 55-gallon barrels, 4 barrels on a skid.
Or you could be like Ian and point the spring right at you while you're unscrewing it.
Yeah, and then just take the crap out of my ears at the same time. But
Oh, a bunch of sissies.
I'm tempted to get a couple of barrels of these so I can actually work on them.
Yeah, well, if you can get hold of them.
Well, there's a company here that actually they disassemble and recertify with new equipment the propane cylinders. The old valves come out and they sell them. And the guy that works on my photocopiers back here, he's been buying them up. He gets 8 barrels at a load. And I think he pays $1.60 a pound.
Okay.
So he turns around and makes 84 cents per pound.
Each pound he gets.
And he's making good money. He says this company has like 60 barrels of them loaded up just for him to take.
So yeah, but that's again, like, see, if you can get a good contract like that you can get in on something like that, and even if you're only making 60 cents per pound, if you've got thousands of pounds, or
it adds up quickly.
You know,
It adds up quickly.
it adds up very quickly.
Yep.
You know,
So
You said he's making a profit of 84 cents?
yeah,
Per
per pound.
pound.
He gets about 8,000 pounds at a clip.
Hey, it's going to come down to how long does it take you to take it apart?
yeah, that's the thing.
He built a jig so he can set this in the jig, and it locks in against this squared off piece. And he can pop the
That's
screw out.
fine, but it still comes down to how long it takes him to get it taken apart. So
He said he did 400 pieces of this in an hour.
I don't believe anything somebody tells me until I see the data.
I've
I've
seen
had
it.
a lot of people,
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people tell me that they can do something in a minute.
yeah, but I've
and
seen his
no way in
process.
hell you do that in a minute.
I've seen his process, and he's got it set up where he can assembly line disassemble them. So it works for him. Not that it's going to work for everyone.
No, again, as Shark said, it comes down to how many you can get done in an hour. So if you're making 80 cents and you get 10 of them an hour done, that's $8 an hour, roughly.
Yeah,
If you get 20, it's $16. If you get 30, it's $24 an hour. So to make it worthwhile, you'd want to be getting at least 30 done an hour. You know, you want to be making $24 an hour profit.
Yeah.
Because that's at least that. Did I see some new name coming in there? I didn't. Oh, there it is. Time is money, but I save labor-intensive stuff for dry days, so I have something to do. Yeah, see, again, it's if you're doing it as a full-time profession, your hours work comes into a thing. But if you're doing it as a hobby, an hour taking stuff apart, and if you only get 5 items taken apart, or you only get 10, it doesn't really matter to you because you're doing it as a hobby. But if you're trying to do that to make a living, then time you would have to work out. Because remember, Shark done a couple of videos where stripping wire, and by the time he stripped the wire and the amount of wire he stripped in the hour, it wasn't really worth it. Stripping it was going to make more money by just bringing it straight to the scrap yards rather than strip it. So you have to kind of work that out for yourself. I can tear down a micro in less than 10 minutes until I try and film it. Yeah, if you try filming, look at anyone that knows about making videos. When you're scrapping something out to make a YouTube video, it takes 10 times the length than what it would normally take. Simple as. So
I can scrap a microwave in 10 seconds.
yeah, just hit it with a hammer. He just throws it to
Right
shred.
shred pile.
Straight to the shred. It's like the time Ralph Morrick done the video, how the most efficient way to strip out a printer, and all he done was threw it into the skip.
Cut the cord off it and throw it in the skip.
Yeah, that was it. The most efficient way, or the most profitable way. If anyone tries to figure out an hourly wage scrapping, they won't do it. It's a hobby that makes money versus God. Yeah, if you're doing it as a hobby, micro scrapping is grand, but if you're doing it as a living, you're not going to be breaking stuff down just for the sake of breaking it down.
Yep.
I did 9 printers in 15 minutes. Come on.
Take you that long to cut the cords off them?
Well, he had to take them up. He had to cut the cards. He took out the ink cartridges, I think, and then he threw them into the skip.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've been getting a lot of printers from this business that shut down. And part of the agreement is I'm getting rid of all their stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I decided that I did the one of the printers. I went through the trouble to get at the peripheral board that's in there, and then it went into the shred. And then I figured, you know what? The best way to do this is just to throw the damn thing on the ground.
Yeah, smash it.
So I have a lot of plastic all over the deck of the shark cage that needs to get swept up.
And they don't have plastic magnets anywhere.
No.
Ian might have one.
Yeah, he has a brass magnet, so he might have one. WatchGod sent me today, Patrick Williams sent me a link to a company here in Ireland that buys plastic now. So it might be something worth looking into. Seeing, but again, I'm sure they're not going to buy 5 or 6 pounds of plastic at a time. You're going to have a big amount of plastic built up before they'll buy it. It's not much plastic.
At this point, I pay to have them take my plastic away.
Okay, you pay to get your plastic taken away. Okay, I don't pay to get my plastic taken away. It goes into my recycling.
I could probably take it myself, but that takes time. So
yeah, but again, it comes. Is it you have to travel 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours to get rid of plastic, or just pay someone a small fee to take it away? Is which works out best,
Yeah, I mean we pay for a recycle pickup that's every 2 weeks from our trash company, and they take it to the recycle center for us. Otherwise, I've got to drive half an hour away and do it myself, and all that kind of stuff. And the amount of plastic that I turn out sometimes, like I just broke down 19 big screen TVs.
Yeah.
All the back panels for that, all the trim
That's
pieces.
a lot of plastic.
That's all going out to the street this evening so that they can get taken away.
Okay. Again, if you're going to be trying to sell your plastic, if you've somewhere to store it up and you can find a buyer, then you're sound. But if you've nowhere to store it up, because plastic takes up a lot of room. So again, as you were saying, taking the back off them TVs, they take up a lot of room, that plastic does. So if you've nowhere to store it, you have no choice but to get rid of it. If you have somewhere to store it, find a buyer, then you're on a winner, of course. Americans cannot be burning the plastic. That's
if you do have a buyer for it, usually they want you to separate by type.
Yeah, they usually do. And some of them will insist you separate by color after type as well. So you have all the black of the same type, all the red of the same type. So when they go shredding it down, they're not mixing colors as well. That was another company I knew that done that. Hey, Plain Scrapper, has anyone looked into turning their plastic into filaments for 3D printing? I've seen videos on that where people had plastic bottles and they turned it into filament for their 3D printer and ran it through their 3D printer. So be interesting to see. Burn the plastic. No, not at least. A big no. Yeah, don't burn your plastic, America's favorite hoarder. Can't be doing that. Whether you're a believer or not in that global warming thing, why would you be putting toxins around yourself? Why would you be burning plastic to breathe in them toxins yourself? Do you not value your own health? Whether you care, about the environment or not, you're still breathing in them toxins around yourself. So I don't know. I don't agree with it. And I know by Shark's face, he doesn't agree with it.
I'm being a good boy. It's your channel. I'm being a good boy.
I'm not changing my ways. So.
Talking a bit more about plastics, I have done a lot of research on plastic recycling. Specifically, there's a group called Precious Plastics. Some of you may have heard of them. That granulate plastic and then put it into different types of molding systems, either to create a flat panel or they'll send it through an extruder and create finished items, as well as basically plastic lumber that can be used for building benches and things of that nature. But there are certain types of plastics that are conducive to that, such as HDPE. It's real good for being able to melt it without burning. And there are plastics that are not conducive to that, such as PVC. PVC tends to off gas, chlorine gas whenever it's heated. So you have to be very careful about any of that stuff as well.
Okay. So yeah, but the toxins that come off the plastic, like it'll just choke you to death if you're running near it. You know. Who did I see? Oh yeah, I seen James P coming in there. James P, welcome in. Good to see you. And there was someone else. Did I see someone else coming in, or did I see a comment I wanted to highlight? There was something there I wanted. William was saying that average price, I presume, for plastic is 6p to 20 cents a pound. So that's kind of better than shred prices. If you're only getting 10 cents for shred and you can get 20 cents for plastic, wouldn't you be better recycling plastic than shred? There's more money out of it per pound. But you have to have, I think he said you had to have a semi-load or a half a semi-load of plastic before they'll buy it. ABS gets billed overseas to Malaysia, he was saying as well. And whoa! Feed that dog to another dog.
You could be like me and throw your plastic in the shred.
Well, that's the other side. What do the scrapyards do? Say that shred now, right? Say the scrapyards, the plastic is on the shred or whatever, and then that all gets crushed up. I presume it goes through a system where a magnet will take the metal and the plastic will come out the other end. What do they do with the plastic? I presume they sell it, but how are they going to separate it out by color or type of plastic?
Don't know.
Because it's all going to be.
It depends on the size of the operation and how sophisticated they are as to what they can separate. So, most scrapyards allow a certain amount of contamination with plastic or glass or things like that because they just know it's going to happen. So that's one of the reasons why shred pays so little, is because they know they're going to have to deal with the contamination at the other end. So, it's just part of the reality there.
Watch God said Scrooge said his dog just took across the room looking for the dogs. Where was the dog making the sound?
Because my yard, they had the big roll-offs, and then they dumped the little bins into the big roll-offs, and they throw pallets and plastic and paper and everything in there. In my old yard, I actually had 4 tires on the rims. He said throw them in there. Got rid of them. So they must have some kind of little, allotment that they allow.
Yeah, that's a very understanding yard. I tell you that.
That was my old yard. The new yard's just as bad. You go down there, they just throw everything all over the parking lot. They don't even bother cleaning up.
Yeah.
Well, very good with it. Separation. Correct.
That one yard that I used to go to in Florida, it would depend on who was monitoring the pile. But some of those guys, you could always tell the new guys because they were always very strict. And I'd seen them throw stuff back in people's trucks. We're not taking that. Throw it back in their truck.
By the way, welcome in, HH Recycling. Good to see you, sir.
The one thing I will say about burning plastics is if you can do it in a sealed container that extracts the
oil.
It's called I'm not remembering the word that they use to describe it, but it's pyrosis of the plastic, where you actually collect the residual oils that are coming out in the gases. That may be a safe way of burning it, but again, you have to have special equipment to try and do
it. There is companies who do that. They do get the oils back from the plastic, but they do it the way you're talking about there. It's an oxygen-free burn, essentially. So, they're getting the oils back from it, and then that can be used again in other processes rather than drill for more oils or stuff like that. So there is companies that do that. I've seen videos on it. I've seen someone try to do a homemade one at home, and he got so far in it, and it was working well. But it used to only give a little bit. It didn't burn everything clean like it should do. So and I didn't he stop doing YouTube videos? So I don't know, did he get in trouble for doing it or not?
Well, to truly do pyrolysis is a huge capital investment.
Yeah.
In the furnace, in the processing of the fumes, the flue gas. I mean, that takes some major capital investment to do that. Usually that's done at a city, county level kind of operation because you also need to have consistent feedstock for it. So yeah, I've seen YouTube videos of people who say they're doing it, but they're not. They just think because they don't see smoke that they're not throwing crap in the atmosphere.
No, it has to be a proper setup, as you said, a real big capital investment sort of thing. A guy in a backyard isn't going to have the equipment to do it, so he's not. Anyhow, let me ask everyone what the plan is for the week before Everyday Solars goes live in a few minutes. So, Mike, what's your plan for the week?
2 scrap runs tomorrow, and that's it.
And that's it. Nothing else for the whole week. You're not going scrapping anything out. You're not going doing anything at all.
Don't have nothing. I got a couple motors, but that's about it. I'm taking the first load. I'm taking non-ferrous, and the second load I'm taking my electronics. And in my videos, you see those big Gaylord boxes I had?
Yeah.
I was all happy about filling up. So I filled the one up with wire today. Damn thing don't fit in the van.
So did you have to empty it all out again to get it into the van?
One claw hand at a time. I had to take it.
Jesus.
Oh,
man, that sucks.
Yep.
I bet you said a dirty word.
Welcome in.
A couple dirty words.
Right, Grandpa Kevin, what's your plan for the week?
Oh, I have a job to do for Audi this week.
Okay, so you're just picking up cars and moving them from one spot?
Swapping the deals.
Okay. Mike's Meltdown, what's your plan? I know you have a video out yesterday. If anyone hasn't watched it already, Mike put his video out yesterday. So what's your plan for the rest of the week?
So I finished up scrapping out the large TVs that I picked up from this guy a couple weeks ago. Went back to his house today, picked up a few more monitors, a server, and a copier. So a lot of stuff to scrap out again.
Okay, that's good that you're getting a lot of stuff. So keep that going. Shark Scrapper, plan for the week?
I have to get this pallet shipped off. I'm going to fill up a Gaylord for board sort. I've got 2 pickups scheduled that I know of right now. But one of them is that business. So, with that business that's going out of business, they call me and they're like, hey, can you come over today? So that could be 2 pickups with them. I don't know. So
okay,
another busy week.
That's good. Right, my plan for the week is I should hopefully have a video out Thursday. I have a lot of small stuff I need to get scrapping on. I have a rake of stuff I want to get into acid for gold recovery, but the weather is against me at the moment. So hopefully we might get a little bit of a break in the weather during the week, and I might be able to get some of that boards and stuff into the acids and get working on the gold recovery side of things. But I have plenty of stuff still to scrap down, smalls like hard drives and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll get onto that. So guys, as always, appreciate everyone that's been in. If you haven't already, hit the like, please do. We should be live again next Sunday night. I'm going to put the link in there for Everyday Solars. So this is the link to Everyday Solars is going to be going live in about a minute's time. So if you all want to pop over there and say hi, and again, everyone that's been in, really appreciate you. Thanks for being in, and don't forget to hit the like. And as Ralph would say, grab you all later. Bye-bye.